All right, everyone, we are here with a very special guest. We are joined by Noah Centineo. The Recruit Season 2 on Netflix is out now. Thank you for joining us, Noah.
Thank you so much for having me.
We've been wanting you to come on this show for years now, so we're happy you made it today.
Well, I'm stoked to be here. I'm honored.
Yeah, seriously. It's funny because it's like when you have people that are on the list and when it finally comes through, we're like, yes.
Right, it's like it's been 7 years.
It's been on the list for
What was I doing for 7 years?
Yeah.
That was more important than this.
You're booked
seriously,
and busy.
right? Right. Well, yes, that is
You're on
for
Call Her
sure
Daddy, you know?
We're all the amazing things, but we're super excited for season 2 of
thanks.
The Recruit.
Thank
How
you.
are you feeling going into a second season? You play a lawyer, CIA lawyer, who would think can't do all the action-packed stuff, but you have to do all the action-packed stuff.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really funny. Like I have no training whatsoever in real life or as the character Owen. I'm excited for the second season. It's out now. So today it just came out, and it's cool. I feel like when you do the first season of a show, you really are just stumbling. Sometimes you're just stumbling around. You don't really know the exact tone. Right, you've never done it before, so you're creating something actively with everyone, and everybody might have a different kind of idea of what the show is. But then you finish it, and you get it, and you put it out, and you get feedback on what works and what doesn't. And so the first season's really setting the table, figuring out the tone, the rules of engagement, and the world. And then the second season, you get to play in it, I think, and have a lot more fun and lean into the aspects that people really enjoyed. And that's what we did. So the second season is like the first season, but with adrenaline and way more action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very funny. Yeah.
Do you feel like in the second season now you feel more comfortable with like acting as your part? Like you said, the first one, you're scrambling around. The second one, do you feel like you've more become that person?
I think so. Yeah, I've spent more time with them, and it's definitely a little bit easier. I would say though, by the time we finished the first episode of season 1, it kind of settled. I was like, that's who this guy is. You better find it, I think.
Right. Yeah. Do you think if you and you did get some practice and help with the CIA, right? So like if you found yourself in a deep conversation, you think you can hold your own and pretend for a little bit?
It would make somebody think that maybe I'm like an analyst or something. I have spoken with, since then, I've spoken with ex-CIA people. Like I spoke with a case officer, and I just started asking him questions, and he kind of looked at me like, how do you know? And I was like, I'm an actor. I work on a show. Please don't kill me.
Right. He's like,
like
you know our secrets.
That's like anybody who plays like their TV doctor, and then they get people ask them for real medical advice, and they're like, no, I know you think I'm a doctor, but I don't ask me for medical advice.
Right.
At what point do you become an expert? Like, I feel like was it Hugh Laurie that did House?
Yes.
So like Hugh Laurie probably would trust his medical advice.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There
I
are
think
certain
maybe
people-
like season 3.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, Ellen Pompeo, I'm like Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, you're a doctor.
You're a doctor.
100%.
Full
You're a
doctor.
They should,
Full
when
doctor.
she like resigns from Grey's Anatomy, they should give her degree.
Yeah, right. It's
They should like have a ceremony
an
for her.
honorary MD.
26 seasons.
Yeah,
or-
exactly.
I think
It's like
In 2050, she gets her degree.
she honestly could,
no,
with that amount of time doing the show, she could have gotten a doctorate degree.
It's
in something.
true.
like 5 times over. And you got to be on location this season, actually like at CIA headquarters, and you were in South Korea. What was that like?
Oh, amazing. It's rare that you get to shoot at the CIA. In fact, all the background there were CIA, because otherwise you have to clear 50 or 100 people, and
Right,
they don't want to
right.
clear civilians. So they did this really cool they did a raffle. I don't know if it's really cool. I think it's cool. They were like, hey, would anybody want to be a supporting actor in The Recruit for season 2? And so many people were like, oh yeah, we like that show. We'd like that they had to do a raffle where people would buy tickets, and then they anyway.
That is,
No, that is really
that's gotta
cool.
Be, obviously, there's a lot going on at the CIA, but like that's got to be a fun okay.
It was a
TV show.
Saturday.
Right, they're like, we get to be in a TV show, a little raffle.
It was actually.
Who wouldn't want that?
It was surprising, right? Because it was a Saturday, it was a weekend, but I feel like the CIA would work on weekends as well. It's
I would
one of
think
those
so.
institutions
Yeah.
that you would think they do.
Now I'm hearing that they don't. It's like a little concerning.
Right?
They're filming a TV show on their
So,
Saturday.
What do you guys do?
Exactly.
But we got we got to work. We were shot at the CIA, but we also shot at the State Department, which
cool.
was really cool. And to do both those things. And then Korea, we went to Korea. I got to go to night markets, and we like went out. And Tae Yo, who plays Chen Kyun on the show, he took me and some of the cast to his favorite pork barbecue place.
That sounds
that's
amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
That sounds incredible.
Was that your first time in South Korea, or you've been there before?
First time.
Yeah.
Never been.
What's like the nightlife scene over there?
Radical.
Yeah.
They have Gangnam. I think that's how you pronounce it. Like from Whoopum Gangnam.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of like their Beverly Hills. So it's kind of, they have like Gangnam, and then they have different districts. They have a very touristy bar like district.
Yeah.
That's more like Key West. It feels like you know.
Yeah.
Or like Times
I was
Square.
gonna say Times Square. Yeah.
Like, think of all like the touristy places in each
Times Square now, I suppose, as it turns
Yeah.
into a little bit more of a Soho. And so there's just a lot of young people out wanting to have fun, and it's wonderful. I had a great time.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
That's really cool. And you got to do a little jump onto Exo Kitty, right? When you were over there?
Yeah, they shot in South Korea, and I got to go and hang out with Anna, and that was cool. That was a little scary, but it was, it was great.
I
Why
saw you
scary?
say that it was a little scary. Why?
Yeah, because I don't know, you don't want to mess it up, you know?
Right. Because you have every girl who, like, even just popping up in the trailer, everyone was like, Peter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
You're like, oh God, what if I ruin it, you know?
No.
But it was wonderful, and Anna's amazing.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
It's a really cute show, so I'm sure they were happy to have you pop
right.
into it.
When the role of Peter first came to you, what were your thoughts? Did you expect it to blow up the way that it did?
No. I started acting when I was 8. I moved to LA when I was 15 after like coming out a couple times. And I auditioned all the time for Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, NBC, like all the regular cable channels and stuff. And if I booked a role, it was almost exclusively as the love interest role. And so when I was 20, I think I was 20, and I auditioned for To All the Boys, I just wanted a job.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I had any choice in the matter.
Yeah.
And that went out for it and booked it, and we shot it independent of Netflix and had no idea. And then Netflix bought it.
Yeah.
They bought it with this other indie that I did called Sierra Burgess is a Loser.
Yep.
And they were completely separate, right? There were just 2 movies that I happened to book where I played this love interest in it, and Netflix bought both of them and released them with the kissing booth, and their marketing campaign was just brilliant, I suppose, in their ability to be like, if you like this, you'll love that, and if you love that, then you'll love this, and it just
that was a super popular time with Netflix. Like when all those movies came out, it was
all
just
the
like a
boys
dream.
and the kissing booth.
Yeah.
Like, it was like all the just every girl.
Yeah, it was
freaked
just
out.
it was a crazy time. They knew what they were doing. I think, I just throw it to Netflix's ability to market and their subscription base, right?
Yep,
Absolutely.
It was smart.
When you were auditioning for that role, how many rounds did you go through, or was it kind of like?
That's a good question. I think I just auditioned, and then I went into a chemistry read with Lana.
Yeah.
Lana had already booked the role.
Yeah.
It was hers. And I was late. I think I was late to the initial audition, and I wore like slides with socks and a big hoodie, and
Classic.
I just walked in, and Tamara Lee, who casted it after my audition, just said, "You need to dress appropriately."
You know, they say
the
dress
next
the
one.
job you want.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But it worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Right?
well, they
Yeah.
remembered you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I was the last one in, and
Right. No, you stood out somehow. They were like, that guy, we want to see him come back dressed.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
different. They were like, he's good, but he looks horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like one of those cheap tricks that they teach you when you're a child trying to make it. They go, wear a color that pops, so they
Yeah,
remember.
right,
And
right.
I always thought, why don't I just do something that's memorable,
Yep.
as opposed to
Slides and
present
socks and
a
it.
certain way.
It never worked for me.
Anyone could present anyway. Get a nice haircut, put on like some nice jewelry, and
Yeah.
a suit.
Where'd the acting bug originally come from? Growing up in Florida and
I just like attention.
yeah.
Welcome to the club.
I know, I was going to say, honestly, Maria would have given the same answer.
Yeah.
put a camera.
I was, didn't make it child actor.
Yeah,
the
she
whole
tried.
thing. I tried, stand out the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
You
stand up. You tried stand up?
No, not stand up. I tried acting, and I did child acting and modeling. And you walk into the audition, and they tell you when they ask you how you are, don't just say good, say fantastic. Say a word that stands out. Never worked for me.
True.
Yep.
Now I'm here hosting this podcast.
It was really funny. It changed my whole career. Was I had an acting coach named her name's Sarah Banyan. Banyan.
She made a big impact on you.
No. Well, she recently changed her last name. So,
Okay.
so I'm very familiar with her initial last name. Banyan. I should look it up.
Give her the proper
We can
shout
edit
out.
some of this out, right?
We can cut, we
Okay,
can cut
okay.
around this.
We have the ability to cut around this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I might as well because this is like for anyone that Banyan with an N.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Hit that again.
Yeah. Sarah Banyan.
Sarah Banyan. It's funny you say that because go walk in and say, oh, I'm fantastic. That was definitely what they taught you, right? Go in and be bright. And then I had this acting coach, Sarah Banyan, and she said, if you're having a bad day and they ask you how your day's going, just say it's terrible. Just be honest. Stop lying. Just be honest with people. And it was the best advice I ever got.
I wish I went to Sarah Banyan.
Right? It's like, just go opposite.
You still can.
They'll remember the kid that came in and was like, I am terrible.
I actually cried my eyes out on the way here.
Yep.
I
And
got a flat on my way over here.
Right. Fighting with my
crazy
parents.
traffic, I actually have another audition that I'm
Yeah.
late for, but I'm excited to be here. I'm
Right.
ready to do it.
Right. Followed my parents the whole way here because I can't fucking get a job.
Yeah.
But
Did you have like a little bit of a culture shock sort of moving across the country and like starting to live in LA? Because that's those early high school years are a very formative time to have to like jump into the LA world.
They totally are. I had been going to LA since I was 11.
Yeah.
So I was familiar with, and I'd worked on independent films or done TV shows. So the glitz and the glamour of it, I got a very up close, personal working experience of it. So for me, it was never this thing that was, by the time I moved there when I was 14 or 15, I understood the workflow of working as an actor and the amount of, and from doing it since I was 8 in Miami and kind of around, it wasn't this glitz glamour thing. It wasn't this famous thing. It was this work thing, right? So when I moved to LA, there was never that. The coolest part was auditioning on lots at Warner Brothers or Fox or just going around and but no, the adjustment was, I suppose, like any kid that you take out from one high school and you put them in another one. You got to make new friends, you got to find new people, but I ultimately left public high school and did independent study by the time I was 17. So
did you make a lot of friends in the industry at that time, going to auditions and such, that you like still stay in touch with now?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Patrick Cage, I've known for a long time. He just he plays he's in one of them days.
Yep.
Do you know that movie with SZA and Kiki Palmer?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's called One of Them Days.
Yeah. It just came out.
It just came out.
Yeah.
So Patrick Cage, he's in that movie, and I've known him since I was 17 years old. Chris Meyer, on Sex Life of College Girls, we've known each other since forever.
Yeah.
I've known him since middle school. We went to the same middle school together.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm trying to think of other. Yeah, I mean, you do, right? Because if you're not in
all the
school,
time.
right, you get your social network. Your group is other kids auditioning, trying to make it work, and usually, if you go to callbacks or your chemistry reads, that like the auditions are kind of a wider swath of people, right? You get 100% of people that are audition, and then maybe 20% of those people get a callback, and then of those people, 5% get to chemistry read or mix and match, and so you just kind of befriend those people that you're seeing weekly. Yeah. And yeah, it's a crazy syndicate. A lot of people went to high school parties, or they went to frat parties in college, or they just went to parties. I did that too. I just did it in apartments and like sometimes like there was like a random billionaire that wanted young people at his house, and so you're like 16 or 17 and get invited to go to this huge mansion, and there's stripper poles, and you're just like, what is
Right.
going
This is a whole
on?
different world.
Grow up just like a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's LA could be very weird in that, but there's also dope artists, right?
Right.
That just they have like a house and it's like everybody come, we're gonna play live music and hang on. So I definitely got a unique experience.
Yeah.
Do you still love the LA lifestyle, or do you kind of like to get out of there?
I like the LA lifestyle that I've found and that I've been a part of with my friends. You know, I'm not really a club guy. I used to be. Like, it was very exciting when you're young, 17, 18, 19, 20. You're out there and you know the door guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're Peter.
Well, that was pre
before,
Peter.
yeah.
By the time I did To All the Boys, I had not been through my like rage phase,
Yeah.
but I got sober when I was 21 from everything, for about a year, and then that was kind of that whole To All the Boys phase.
Yeah.
And then after that, I kind of went back to drinking a little bit, but never really partied. So I'm not over the lifestyle because what I found is LA's great for like bonfires on the beach or going hiking and like, I don't know, it's a hub for good food and good eating.
Yeah.
And that's all great,
Right.
What did that year kind of do for you? Like kind of taking that time away from everything.
I mean, it taught me that sobriety or abstaining at certain points of your life can be like a superpower.
Yeah.
You sleep better.
Yeah.
You're more focused. You're more accountable. You hold yourself far more accountable if you have to prepare for something. It's not like you're hungover and you're tired or you can't really remember your lines because of that. Like you're hungover. You gotta really confront things too. If you're not just drinking, right? If you're drinking, you don't have to really care about things. It's a good way to numb yourself or self-medicate. So you got to confront things, and then you have to find healthier ways to deal with those things. And if I'm in those phases, like right now, I'm in one of those phases where I'm just not really doing anything, and you just got to work out.
Take advantage.
Work out, and then just kind of connect with yourself and try to take care of yourself as best as you can, because life's trippy.
Right.
Yeah,
what made you make that decision?
Man, that's a great question. I don't know how honest I can be. Should I tell him the truth, Emily? She's just like, I was so unhappy. I was like, I was able to pay my bills for the first time. I was like completely financially stable and secure. I was working regularly, and I was doing a lot of drugs and nothing like, I wasn't doing anything crazy. I just was doing drugs a lot, right? And drinking like all the time, every day. And I was young, right? I was 20 years old, and I'd been doing that for a couple of years. And so I had a career that I was proud of. I was making enough money to pay my rent and put a little bit away. And so you would think I should be super stoked and super happy, and I just wasn't. And one day I woke up and the world just looked different. Like it felt like it was the same world, but I was looking at it like something had felt like something had broken a little bit, and it scared me. And I just realized that I needed to dry out, sober up, and kind of take a look at myself and take an inventory and figure out what that change was, and get back to myself. I just wasn't a happy person, and I grew up, I was a very happy kid,
right?
And I lost that, so I needed to find that.
Well,
I mean, that's
good for
incredible.
You. It's impressive to be able to recognize that
for sure
at a young age.
For sure. And I
Thank
think a lot of people can relate to everything you're saying too. Like just feeling like you have everything in the world, but not feeling that happiness. So any steps that anybody can do to like make that change for themselves is just an incredible thing. So good for you.
Thank you.
Seriously, it is impressive because and it's hard to cut everything to do it. It's hard. It takes a lot of discipline.
Because sometimes you can
it.
end up in that spot where you like start feeling bad for yourself instead of like making the change. Right? You're like, another day where I don't feel. You
can't do it. You can't do it. Like you gotta want to. You gotta be in a place where you truly gotta decide. That's why, sobriety and addiction, they're such tough things. Unless the person of interest wants it for themselves, it's very hard to make someone do that.
Yep.
And I think what led me to it was I was lucky enough to ask the question, why was I so happy when I was 11 or 12? And what changes have I made and since then that have led me to be so unhappy? And I said, well, what was I doing? What was my daily life like at that age? And I just went, okay, I'm going to replicate that.
Right.
And yeah, it helped.
Yeah,
it helped substantially.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's amazing.
That's great. I mean, and now such a rapid like name recognition rise. You know, you get to all the boys. It's like all of a sudden you're teen heartthrob. Every girl loves you. Every girl's obsessed over you. How did that affect like your real life?
I think, how did it affect my real life? Excuse me. Make sure you keep that in. I mean, it really just changed. I mean, the first time I realized that it was going to affect anything was I had just gotten to New York. We were doing the press tour for it. I got to my hotel and there was a small army of people outside. And I go upstairs. I like take photos and sign things. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Nice to meet you guys. I can't, like, this is weird. I go up to my hotel room and I roll a cigarette. And I go, oh, I'm going to go outside and smoke this. And I went, I can't go outside.
Yeah.
So can I? Like, if I'm playing a kid in high school, I probably shouldn't do that. I had a panic attack.
So I freaked out.
You're like, I stuffed the towel under the door and I smoked out the window.
Immediate freak out.
Smoked out there. And I just kind of got my bearings and went, no, I think this is okay. I think you'll be fine. And I just went to the service and entrance and I said, hey, I went to like some of the people in the kitchen. I was like, can I smoke somewhere? And they were like, yeah, just go out there. So it's fine.
Right.
It just changes little things like that. You know, it changes the way that you're in public just by virtue of individuals that you don't know you or think that they know you and they come up to you. And so I remember a manager when I was younger and just starting said, whenever you're in public, you're working. And so that's kind of a different mentality to have too, right? You're not anonymous anymore. There's no anonymity. Even if, I think I said that word right.
Yeah, you know, you're that's heavy. That's like whoa, okay.
Right. Like even if you go out to dinner, you're like, I feel like, you know, everyone can see me.
Yeah. And sometimes they do, sometimes you are. Sometimes nobody knows who you are, and that's awesome. And
right. And you feel like you had, like you said, you're playing a kid in high school, so you feel like you have an image to uphold, but you're also an adult who could smoke a cigarette. So, but you have a younger crowd, and I think we see this all the time lately now too. Just like the younger crowd, TikTok, they like don't know that the people they're watching on TV are older, and they get mad at like cursing or anything like that, and you're like, you know what I mean? Like even like if you take Taylor Swift for an example, it's like if she's spotted doing anything of the sorts, or like Super Bowl last year, she's out partying, they're like, oh my god, she's at a party, and it's like, well, yes, she's an adult, you know, she's like that sort of thing, 30s. Right? Exactly.
No,
let her rage.
No, it's true. It must have been kind of a really a big jump. And now how fun is it for you kind of to jump into more of like an action adventure role with the recruit, kind of coming from like the, you know, the teen heartthrob movies?
Yeah, it's fun. It's just a different like muscle. And it's great. Like literally. And Owen's cool as a character. He's not supposed to be this perfectly trained killer, you know. He's not supposed to be badass. He's supposed to be a young kid fresh out of law school that gets recruited to be a lawyer at the CIA, that gets thrown into these crazy deep ends with people that are trying to kill him and people that are trained to look cool. And he just doesn't. He gets to be a mess. And I think that's awesome. And it's a fresh way into the spy genre. And I like playing it because I don't have to try to, you know, look cool. I just get to be like panicked.
Right, exactly. Well, the Recruit season 2 is out now on Netflix. And to wrap up with one last question.
One last question presented by Truly.
By Truly. Shout out the Paradise flavor, my favorite.
Yes.
What would be a dream role for you now that you've done, you know, romance, heartthrob, CIA? Do you have a dream role?
It's just such a horrible answer to that question. I wish I had a really interesting one for you. Not really. I don't really have a dream role. I look for like dream directors and filmmakers that I just really trust. And
do you have like a favorite director that you would love to work with?
I don't have a favorite. No. But I have a few that I hopefully get
On
to
the
work
wish
with
list.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
Open to all opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. It's like you don't want to say it either. Because
No, I
you're like,
really
work with this
understand.
person. And
Yeah,
then
no,
it's
I
like,
completely
Right.
understand.
I get
That's like
it.
people are like, no, I have my wish list, and
Yeah.
it stays on the list until it becomes a reality.
Right. It's like when
yeah.
you don't say your wishes out loud.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right.
they don't
What'd you
come
wish
true.
for? I'm
Yeah.
telling
I'm not
you.
telling
Right.
you.
Exactly.
You're a weirdo. That won't come true.
Exactly. I'm sorry I asked.
I know,
Anyways, thank you so much, Noah.
Thank you, Noah. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And The Recruit season 2 is streaming now on Netflix.
That's right.
There
Now
you
playing
go.
on
Awesome.
Netflix. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate your
Thanks.
time.